Welcome to another edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com Daily, which is free on our YouTube page. In this episode, we take a look at the Icebreaker 30 at Lincoln Speedway. Got to give credit to Jerry Parrish and the guys at Lincoln Speedway for moving their start time. It was originally scheduled for 2 p.m. on Saturday. Early morning rain has forced them to move it to 4 p.m. And they just put out in social media about an hour ago that they were going to move the start time. And really, I thought it was a smart decision. The weather is going to be really good as far as temperature. It's supposed to be around 55 to 57 degrees between 2 and 3 p.m. Moving it to 4 with a one-division show. This thing should be over by 6:30 at the latest. And that should be really comfortable for fans. I really think this is something that should be done more throughout the season by tracks. With the use of social media, you can easily get out there when you're making a change on the fly to get a show in as opposed to canceling. So thumbs up to the guys at Lincoln for trying to get this show in by moving it back 2 hours. As for storylines heading into the Icebreaker, there's plenty of them. One of the top ones is Danny Dietrich, who had a really good Florida Speed Weeks at Volusia in the Dirt Car Nationals against the All-Star Circuit of Champions and the World of Outlaws. In 4 races, he had 2 top 5s and a top 10. It's his best performance at Volusia probably in his career, and that gives him a lot of confidence heading into the Icebreaker 30. The notes might not mean anything and probably won't no matter where he goes throughout the year, but just building that confidence, getting racing under his belt, getting laps, getting comfortable in the car, that should pay dividends early in the season. And he's also the defending Icebreaker 30 champion, so don't be surprised if he's sitting in victory lane again. Freddie Ramer, he's the defending track champion at Lincoln Speedway, and really he's kind of been a traditionally slow starter. 2 years ago, he finished 17th in the Icebreaker 30. Wasn't that good in 2018 as well. But last year, he finished 3rd. He used that 3rd place finish to a springboard to the title. So it'll be interesting to see if Freddie Ramer can kind of continue that mojo he built last year in the Icebreaker 30 at Lincoln Speedway. Car count. We talk about this all the time in the beginning of the year, and then it kind of fades around May, June. Then it becomes not a big deal because you get into the sanction races and the touring groups start coming in. But early season, we always maybe are hyper sensitive to it. I'm probably included in that. So I just don't have a good feel for what the car count's going to be Saturday. I know Brent Marks isn't going to be there. Lucas Wolf has indicated he's not going to be there. Brock Zierfoss. And, of course, anybody expecting to see Shark Racing, say that 5 times fast, that's not going to happen either because of the World of Outlaws schedule being turned upside down recently by COVID in California and also the weather. However, Tim Schaefer will be there. And that's huge because that's another guy in this area to battle with Danny Dietrich, Anthony Macri, Freddie Ramer. And Schaefer is coming off 2 360 wins in Florida. So it'll be interesting to see how he looks at Lincoln Speedway in a 410. It was not good at Volusia, but it's definitely a guy to watch on Saturday. This race, the Icebreaker, has also it's seen its share of maybe upset winners. Look, we have the Fred Ramer in the 90s and Lance DeWeese and then Greg Hodnett early 2000s. Maybe a Doug Esch gets in there. And you have Fred Ramer and, of course, Lance through the 2000s. And then recently it's been Danny Dietrich and Lucas Wolf as favorites, and Brian Monteith, of course. But there has also been some guys who maybe you don't think of opening day getting wins. This goes all the way back to 1994 when Glenn Fitzcharles got the win. You had Chad Trouts won it in recent memory. Adam Wiltz won it twice. Chris Knopp has a win in the Icebreaker. So, it gives fans, I think, something to look forward to than the norm that we see every week. That upset winner who can maybe grab an early season win and maybe get people talking moving forward as the season progresses. Speaking of Brian Monteith, we mentioned him earlier. This is the first icebreaker in quite some time that he will not be in Jerry Parrish's Premier Auto number 21. They were together 17 years. And now Monteith is kind of scaling back. He does have some things in the works. I think you're going to see him part-time. I think the days of him running a full schedule are over. And Lincoln Speedway is going to have to find other guys, or other guys are going to have to step up and become fan favorites, because Monteith was huge at Lincoln to attendance and, just as a fan favorite to beat the Travelers or Danny Dietrich. They had a really good rivalry. So that was always interesting, which brings us to Matt Campbell, who's named the full-time driver in this car at the end of 2020. And now, can he get off to a good start? Do I think the pressure's on him to perform right away? No, I don't. I think Jerry Parrish, it does not have a quick hook. He didn't with Brian Monteith. Monteith busted up some equipment early on, and then of course look what he did at the track and across central Pennsylvania. So I don't think the pressure's on as far as from a car owner or anything like that, or even fans. I do think Matt Campbell might be putting some pressure on himself because, let's face it, you're following Brian Monteith. He's a staple at Lincoln. He's won track championships, big races, you name it. And now you're carrying that mantle, or you picking up that mantle, so to speak. And people are going to put him under the microscope a little bit. And getting off to a good start can certainly help owner, crew, driver make that transition easier. That's going to wrap up this edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com Daily. We'll have full coverage of the Icebreaker 30 from Lincoln Speedway on SprintCarUnlimited.com. Check us out, and we'll be back with another episode of the Daily soon. Stay tuned.